Yes, my name is Robert Lederman. I'm the president of Artists. That's Artists Responds to Illegal State Tactics. That's the Street Artist Group. I'm going to specifically address intros 828, 830, 832, and 846. Let me first say, though, that there's been some extraordinary statements made in this hearing. One of them is that the vending laws are confusing. Councilmember Liu called them a monstrosity, a hodgepodge. They've been referred to as impossible to understand or enforce. I've been vending for 42 years. I understand the vending laws. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a legislator. These laws weren't written by random, by throwing up ink and paper in the air. They were written by your predecessors over more than 100 years, sitting right in this very room. There's a rational and defendable reason why there are different categories of vendors. Just like there are handicapped people have certain rules that they can park in certain places that someone who's not handicapped can park in. Just like children have different laws that apply to them than apply to adults. That's why there's different laws for vets, artists, food vendors, and general vendors. There's nothing confusing about these laws as far as we're concerned, but apparently the bids and the people who actually wrote the laws are claiming that they're too confusing to understand. Now, as far as the specifics of those four, Intro 832 is making a new definition of obstruction that basically covers everything, including a crack in the sidewalk. Well, if you go into those supposedly very narrow streets that Councilmember Gerson and the bids are talking about, if you look at this document that I gave out earlier today, you'll see photographs of literally tens of thousands of concrete planters that they have illegally put all over the city. And according to Lieutenant Robert D'Onofrio, who testified in a federal lawsuit by disabled vets, Lieutenant D'Onofrio testified under oath the vast majority of those tens of thousands of planters were put there solely for the reason of obstructing legal vendors in legal spots. So before we get into some nonsense about limiting artists to 2 per block, how about limiting these planters to 2 per block? How about eliminating the business improvement districts? Intro number 846 is the most shocking of all these intros. You know, the United States Constitution is a complex document too. Maybe you'd like to simplify that down to 1 paragraph so it'll be easier for everybody to understand. But Intro 846 puts First Amendment rights into the hands of business improvement districts. So basically what you're saying, to put it in language everybody can get, you want to let McDonald's and real estate investors decide what First Amendment rights are, who can exercise them, and where they can be exercised.
Well, my name is Jill Stasium, and I'm here to put a face on who your intros would affect if these actually were passed. I'm an artist, and I live in Soho. I grew up in New Jersey, and I got my BFA in Massachusetts. My parents were always supportive of me. They even put me through college. And when I graduated, my dad asked me, well, what are you going to do now? And I told him I'm going to be an artist. Selling on the streets in New York enabled me to realize my dreams and visions. For the last 11 years, I've sold my paintings on West Broadway. It's really a challenging and difficult way of making a living, but I couldn't think of anything more satisfying. As an artist, I have an audience of people from all over the world and have sold over 4,000 original pieces of art, which are now hanging in many countries. And I can tell you that in all my years on the streets, people from all over the world have told me that they're thrilled that there are so many independent artists displaying so freely. They tell me they come to Soho because they've heard that is where you can see so many different people selling so many different kinds of affordable art. The people that work in the stores I sell in front of tell me that when the artists are out on the street, business is better for them. New York City in general, and Soho in particular, is an area with a dense cultural history. I moved to New York particularly for the artistic community. The wonderful thing about the First Amendment protecting artists is that anyone can bring their personal mode of expression to a public forum, no matter their level of advancement. Not everyone can make it in the gallery system, either due to the content of their work, politics of the gallery, or personal temperament. On the streets, you're able to present your own work on your own terms and on your own initiative. Thanks to taking my work to the sidewalks of the city, I've been able to evolve as an artist. I'm not here asking for a handout or welfare. I'm just asking for the freedom of self-reliance. The intros on the table today, particularly 8:30, which could limit 2 artists per block, would not only make it impossible for me to make a living, but it would take away rights that I hold most dear. So do most of the people in this room. Taking to the streets has made me acutely aware of how citizens have to be vigilant on protecting our rights. To not speak out is to lose them. I ask you to reject these bills, particularly 828, 830, 832, 846. Their only purpose is to eliminate artists from the streets. Please don't take our freedom as artists away. The American open free market system of unregulated capitalism rewards hard work, initiative, and self-reliance. It's truly an American freedom, and we all benefit from it.
Thank you. Next speaker.